Okay, so in this live stream, I'm talking about my dream of traveling the world because, yes, I have a dream to travel the world. My son is shouting out there. Yeah. So, I have a dream to travel the world, and so far, I have been to 4 countries. Yes, 4 countries, which is not bad at all. I've been to Comoros, which is my home sweet home, my home country. I've been to Madagascar, I've been to the US, and I'm in France. That's 4 countries. And I have a lot to do. And as a traveler, being in France is a very big advantage. For me, it's a strategic place to be as a traveler because in France, once you have the French residence card, you can travel within the Schengen area. You can travel within the European Union without a visa, visa free. Thing that I cannot do with my Comorian passport because I'm very limited with my Comorian passports. There are certain countries I cannot go. I will have to have a visa, but with the French residence card, at least I can travel around. I can travel around the European Union without visa, which is awesome. So that's why I'm still here in France. Because there are some people who ask me, why are you still in France? Why don't you go back home, Comoros? But my answer to them is, I'm here for a dream. So I'm not here for tourism only. I'm here for a dream of traveling the world. So I believe that being here is going to facilitate my project of traveling the world. I have a project called Comoros to the World because Comoros is a country that not many people know, not many people talk about. So my project Comoros to the World is about traveling the world, share my stories, discover different countries so that I can go back home with a lot of experience and share my experience with the people back home to Comoros because Comorians are people who don't travel a lot. By the way, but the only country that we really travel a lot is France. In France, you'll find a lot of Comorians. And chances are, in the US, you won't find many Comorians. By the way, there is not a US embassy in Comoros. There are many countries that don't have an embassy in Comoros. So a Comorian would like to travel to the US, for example. He will have to go to Madagascar to apply for the visa in the US embassy in Madagascar. So imagine you have to pay the flight ticket to go to Madagascar, pay for hotels in order for you to apply for a visa to the US. It's super difficult for a Comorian to travel. Let's say a Comorian wants to go to, for example, just take an example, Germany. There is not an embassy in Comoros, so a Comorian would like to travel to Germany will have to go to Tanzania or Madagascar or I don't know what country to apply for the visa. So things are very difficult. And also, hello to the people who are saying hello. Yusef, hello. And another thing is that with the Comorian passport, there are many countries you will have to apply for a visa. Oh, there are certain countries you don't need to have a visa with the Comorian passport. For example, to go to Tunisia, you don't have to have a visa with the Comorian passport. It's visa free. To go to Senegal, for example, it's visa free for a Comorian. Yeah, there is a visa, but you'll get it once in the airport in Senegal. So myself, when I was in Comoros, when I was, in my very young age, I always dreamed of traveling the world. But, as somebody who's living in islands, it's not easy at all to move from the island to see how people live out there. And for those who don't know Comoros, just go to the Google map and open, you will see that Comoros are very remote. They are very remote. You have to zoom and zoom and zoom in the Google map in order to see the 4 dots out there between Madagascar and the African continent. So these are very remote islands, and it makes things very difficult for us. It makes things very difficult for us to move. That's why myself I decided to come to France, study here, start a new life here, and try to think of ways to travel the world and see different countries. Go back home to share my experience, because there are a lot of people out there in my country who have even never moved to see the other islands. Comoros, my home country, we have 4 islands, and there are people who have never been to the other islands of the country to see, because again, as an island nation, it's very difficult to move within the islands, because if you are in my island, for example, which is the main island, Grand Comore or Ngazija, that's where everything is. That's where we have the international airport. But the other people from the other islands, if they want to come to my island, they have to take either the boat or take a plane, which is not affordable at all. So it makes things very difficult for us to discover our own country, as we are an island nation. And now imagine if you want to travel the world. It's going to be very difficult to make plans of traveling the world while I'm living in Comoros. That's why for me living in France is very strategic, as here at least I can move around the European Union without visa free. I can move within the European Union visa free, which is good, because yes, here I have a residence card that allows me to travel different countries in Europe. So the people who are asking me, why are you still in France? Yes, I'm still in France because I want to come. I'm still in France because I have a project, I have a dream that I have to achieve before, leaving this country. I'm still here because, yes, I'm working, I have a permanent contract. Go, 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 go. I'm still here because I have a permanent contract. Tu vois, bah, comme tu filmes. Vira, no filmer. Sorry, I was talking with my wife. So I was saying I'm still here because I'm working. I have a family, I have a child. By the way, he's just behind me playing his music. So I have a child, a little family that I have to take care of. And also, as I'm working here in France, I'm also building back home. I cannot go back home just like this. Where am I going to sleep? I cannot go back home to sleep in my family's home. It's not good, because now I have I have a family, I have a baby, I have a wife. So for me to go back to my home country, I have to make sure I build my own house for my little family, so that we can go to have our own home sweet home. That's why I'm still here in France. I'm working to save money to finish my house back home, because yes, I'm building my own house. So if I go back home, there I don't have ways to make money back home with the unemployment, and I don't have businesses there already. So what I'm doing now, I'm just working hard here in France to save money to finish my home, to finish my house in Comoros, open some business in Comoros, and prepare my return to the country, and also prepare my different travels around the world. But for now, the biggest project I have now is to go back home for vacation. I want to go on vacation in Comoros, that it's not easy. The flight ticket to Comoros is very expensive. It's around 2,000 euros. 2,000 euros the flight ticket to the Comoros. I don't know about now if things have changed, but let me check the flight ticket. Let's check together the flight ticket to the Comoros. So you see that I'm not lying to you at all. Let's go and see. Flight ticket to Comoros. Let's check with Ethiopian Airline, because Ethiopian Airline is the common flight to the Comoros. So if you want to go to Comoros, you have to take Ethiopian Airline, which is like the common flight to Comoros. There are some other flights like Kenyan Airways, but personally, Kenyan Airways, I don't really recommend it. I'm sorry if there are some Kenyans watching this video, but Kenyan Airways is difficult. Most of the time, your luggage doesn't come. Most of the time, the luggage don't come on time, and sometimes they delay the flights. So I have a very bad experience, a very bad experience with Kenyan Airways. Kenya is a beautiful country, but the company, wow, it's not easy at all. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm the one who had a very bad experience with the Kenyan Airways, but if I check online, there are a lot of complaints about people who took Kenyan Airways and who had, very bad experience. I hope things will change. I hope things have changed. But if you really want to go to Comoros, I really recommend Ethiopian Airline. It's expensive, but it's sure that you won't have missing suitcases and your flight won't be delayed. So let's check the flight ticket to the Comoros. Let me check and see. Let's say, for example, I will depart from Paris. I will depart from Paris and I want to go to Comoros. The date, probably it's gonna be on June. Let's say June 1st. And the return, it's gonna be on July 1st. I do 1 month. I wanna go with my little family, my wife and my child. I will have 2 adults and one child. Let's check. Because people are asking me, why don't you go to vacation on Comoros? But really, guys, the vacation to Comoros is very expensive, because now I'm not alone. I have to travel with my little family. And let me check. You see, if I want to travel with my wife and my children, my wife and my child, the flight ticket is wow, you see, the flight ticket is 873 euros per person. Is it round trip or one way? I don't know if it's round trip. It's not round trip. Eight hundred 873. That's the price for the flight ticket, one person. Oh, but this one, let me check another one. And there is also 1,736 1,736 euros for one person. Oh my God, that's a lot. Oh my God. Share, share. Okay, so I've been checking the flight ticket to Comoros, and wow, you see the round trip is 1,736 euro for one person. That's a lot. No, let me take that amount times 3, because I will travel with my little boy who's just here. Say hello, and my wife. You see, that's a lot of money. How much is this? Let me check. How much is this? Let's just take 1,736 euros times 3. That's a lot. What is the concept? The concept here, I'm checking the flight ticket to Comoros and sharing my dream to travel the world, because yes, I'm here for a dream. As I always say in this channel, I'm in France, living in France for a dream. And the dream is to travel the world, starting from the European Union, because there are some people who asking me, are you in France forever? Are you staying in France forever? No, I'm not staying here forever. I'm here for a project, for a dream. And once I realize that project, that dream, I will leave France. And the project here is to travel the world, starting from the European Union. And I said that so far I've been to 4 countries: Comoros, which is my home sweet home, Madagascar, the USA, and France. But unfortunately, by that time I was not a YouTuber, so I didn't film my trip to Madagascar. I didn't make a video about my trip to the US. By the way, my trip to the US, it was in 2019. So I went for an exchange program in the US, an exchange program that is called the Mandela Washington Fellowship. It's a fellowship created by former President Barack Obama, for young African leaders from sub-Saharan Africa. So I was one of the young people who were selected to represent my home country, Comoros. And that time I was still a student. So I got the French visa. I got the J1 visa. Yeah, J1 visa, I think. Yeah, for the exchange program to the US. I think it's J1. Yeah, J1. I had to go to Madagascar because in Comoros there is no US embassy. So I had to travel to Madagascar to apply for the visa, J1 visa to the US. But fortunately, I was not the one paying for the ticket, because the program I went, the program called Mandela Washington Fellowship, you can go ahead and check on the internet, Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. So that program was fully funded by the US Department of State. So my trip to the US, I didn't pay anything, even the ticket, even my ticket to the airport, I didn't pay. Even the taxi to the airport, I didn't pay anything. It's the US Department of State that paid everything. They covered everything. my trip to Madagascar because I had to go to Madagascar for the visa. So they paid my trip to Madagascar. They paid a hotel for me, the time I spent in Madagascar, and they paid my entire stay in the US because I did 2 months in the US in the great state of Kansas. I was at Kansas State University. There I was doing civic leadership. I was doing a 2 months training of civic leadership at Kansas State University. In the they call it the Stale School of Leadership Studies. So I was the only Comorian who was in the great state of Kansas doing civic leadership, the only Comorian in Kansas. So imagine one person young that I was, because I think I was 24 that time. Yeah, I was 24. And that's when I finished my university program in the Comoros. I got that opportunity to go to the US, the only Comorian who went to Kansas State University. So I was there, and my program was fully funded by the US Department of State. It was awesome. I really spent a great time there in the US. And yeah, that's why I said I did 4 countries, because I did Madagascar. Madagascar, I had to go there for the visa because we don't have a US embassy in Comoros, so I had to go to Madagascar for the visa. So the US Department of State, they paid my trip to Madagascar, and they paid me a hotel because I had to spend 4 days in Madagascar. If you want to go to the US, you have to do an interview. So I had to do the interview for the visa, the J1 visa. So the US Embassy paid everything. The US Department of State, sorry, they paid everything. So the visa, I did the interview. They, put the visa in my passport. Then I went back home to Comoros. And then I had to travel to the US. It was a very long trip. That was my first time traveling to, out of the Indian Ocean, because I went to Madagascar. Madagascar is close to Comoros, like 2 hours flight away from Comoros. But my first long trip out of the Indian Ocean was my trip from Comoros to the US. Oh my God. How many hours I did? I think I did 14 hours, 15 hours from Comoros to the US. I took a flight from Comoros to Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, and then from Ethiopia, I took a flight to, I don't remember the country. It was a connecting flight, but I don't remember the country. It was a country in Europe. Then from there, I took another flight to the US, Washington, Dallas. That was my first time in the US. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like I was dreaming. Wow, this is me in the US. It was like I was dreaming. Then I went to Washington, Dallas. I waited there for, I think, 1 hour. So my university, because I was going to live on campus, the university's administration sent a bus. They took me to Kansas. And then from Washington to Kansas, it's another long trip. Another long trip. By the way, I had to go. No, sorry, I didn't take a bus, because when I arrived in Washington, I had to take another flight to Kansas. Then I took another local flight from Washington, Dallas to Kansas City, if I remember well. Yeah, from Washington, Dallas to Kansas City. And there, my university, Kansas State University, they came to pick me up from Kansas City. Kansas City's airport, to Manhattan, Kansas. I didn't know there was Manhattan, Kansas. I only knew there was Manhattan, New York, but I didn't know there was Manhattan, Kansas. So I went to Manhattan, Kansas, at the university, Kansas State University. I spent 2 months there, and what I wanted to make you understand is that when you get an opportunity to travel abroad, let's say, for example, you get an opportunity to go for a training abroad in an European country, there are certain people who take it as granted. When they finish the training, they choose to stay in that country illegally, which is not good because it's now you are reducing your chances, to get other visa to travel to see other countries. And when I went to the US, it was 2019. Many people back home, they told me, oh, you have an opportunity. You are in the US. You should stay there. Many people are dreaming to come to the US and you are there. You should stay. Don't come. And there are other people who try to explain me to stay in the US illegally. And then I was young, but I knew what I was doing. I knew that was a big opportunity that many people didn't have. Imagine you are the only one person who is chosen to represent a whole country. I was the only one who was chosen to represent my country in that program, Mandela Washington Fellowship. And imagine if I choose to stay in the US after the training. It's like a big shame. It's like reducing, I was young, it's like reducing my chances for the future. So some people told me, oh, Abdul, you are in the US, stay there, don't come. Many people are dreaming to have the visa to the US, and you have that chance, and you say you are coming back home. But I said, no, 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 no. I'm not staying in the US because I have a dream. I have a big dream. The US, it has never been my dream country. It's a great country, but it has never been my dream country. And I told them, no, I cannot stay in the US because my program is fully funded by the US Department of State. It's an exchange program. And if you apply for an exchange program and you are accepted, you go to the US, you have to return back home after the program, by the way, to share your experience, to share what you have learned in that program in your home country. So I have signed a contract that after the training, it was 2 months. After the training, I will go back home. So I had to respect that contract because the program paid me everything. I had I was paid money every month. The food, the housing, everything was fully funded by the US Department of State. So I couldn't accept to stay in the US illegally after the program because people are dreaming to go there and I am there. I had to stay. And I said no. I said, okay, people, I'm not staying in the US because I have another big dream. My dream is to travel the world. So if I stay in the US, it means I'm reducing my chances to realize my dream, which is traveling the world. Because the thing is, if I chose to stay in the US, I was going to be paperless because I had a visa, a 3 months visa. So if I chose to stay in the US, I was going to be paperless. And that's what many people don't understand. You choose to stay in a foreign country illegally. You don't know how many years you're going to spend in that country before. You don't know how many years you're going to spend in that country uh, and get, a residence card. Maybe you're going to spend 10 years, 20 years in that country without having the papers, a residence card, which is not good at all. Because I can tell you from my experience what I'm seeing here in France. There are a lot of people who are living here in France, foreigners who are living here in France without a residence card. And I can tell you, these people are really struggling because it's not easy at all to live in a foreign country without a residence card. How are you going to work? How are you going to survive? It's not easy. So I said, no, I cannot stay in the US because I don't want to be here without having, the papers. I was young, I had dreams, and I knew if I finish my program, I go back home, I was going to get many other opportunities. Oh, I'm not French. There is someone who said I'm Peppa Pig. No, I'm not Peppa Pig. Are you French? No, I'm not French. So I told people, no, I cannot stay in the US because I have other plans. I have big dreams. My dream was to travel the world. So if I chose to stay in the US, I was going to stay paperless after 2 months because my program, I had a J visa. I had only 3 months visa. Then when I finished my program, I went back home. And when I went back home, people, they said I was crazy because I got a chance to go to the US. And after my visa ended, I chose to go back home. And people back home, they said I'm crazy because I went to the US and I went back home. But they didn't know that I had other plans. And when I went back home, I have applied for a student visa to come here in France. And when I went to the French embassy to apply for the visa, I give them my papers, my passport, and everything. And they checked in my passport, they saw that in my passport there is already a J1 visa. And they asked me, have you ever been to the US? I said, yes, I was there for 2 months. Oh, you were in the US and you came? I said, yes, because I had a program of 2 months. I finished my program and I came back home. The French embassy didn't hesitate at all. They just gave me the visa like this, the French visa. Because, these Western countries, once they see that in your passport, there is a visa from another, big country like the US, the UK. So imagine in your passport, there is a visa from the UK. If you go to the French embassy, you apply for a visa to France, automatically they will accept because they will understand that you are reliable. You are somebody who is open-minded. You are somebody who is, valuable. You are a valuable person. That's why when I was in the US, I told people, no, I'm not staying in the US because if I stay in the US, my visa will finish and I will be paperless. So it means I'm reducing my chances for the future to travel to other countries. And when I came back home, I applied for the French visa. When I got it, then people said, now we understand your dream. You understand your project. And that was my project, by the way. Go to the US, come back home, apply for a student visa to come to France. And it worked. I went to the US, I came back home, I applied for the French visa, student visa, I got it, and now I'm in France, living here and working here. So now the project, as I have a residence card that allows me to travel within the European Union. Sorry, I can travel the European Union without visa. I don't need to have a visa to travel the European Union because, by the way, my French residence card, this one, no, this is a French residence card. So with this, I can travel different countries within the European Union, visa free. So it's a big advantage for a person with a worldwide travel project. So for now, what I want you to understand is that I don't know who are you, what are your projects, what do you want to achieve in life, But one thing is sure, I want you to understand that if you get the opportunity to go to a foreign country, go, spend the time you are allowed to spend, and if your visa finished, go back home. Don't stay in a foreign country illegally because you will reduce your chances for the future. Imagine if I have chose to stay in the US, I wouldn't have this opportunity. I wouldn't get this chance to get a French student visa to come here because I would have been in the US without, papers. But I chose to go back home after the US, and then I applied for a French visa, French student visa to come here. The French embassy, they gave me the visa because they saw that in my passport there was already a J1 visa from the US. They understood that I'm a valuable person, I'm a reliable person. That's what many people cannot understand. Again, it also depends on the case because we all have different cases. There are people who leave their home country because there is a war in their country, for example. So if you are in that case, I can understand. But there are people who are young who just want to travel in other countries, and once they get the chance to go to a country, they just choose to settle in that country illegally, which is not good because you're reducing your chances for the future. But now, let's say, for example, you get a 2 months visa to go to a big country, let's say Germany, for a training. Go to the training, you finish the training, you go back home because that opportunity will open you different doors, many doors for the future. Okay, so for now, my biggest dream is to go on vacation in my home country, Comoros, which is not easy at all because the flight tickets are very expensive. But I will do all my best to go with my little guy who is just here, go on vacation. I know it's gonna cost me a lot of money, but you know what? That's life. Okay, thank you for watching this one. I will see you in other videos. Make sure you subscribe for my channel. Go ahead and watch my videos on my channel. Subscribe to support me and support the channel. Goodbye.